10 seconds remaining.
Welcome to Game 2 of IG versus DK. This is the
5
upper
seconds
bracket,
remaining.
round 1. Whoever drops here
Reserve time.
will go down to the lower bracket, where they could potentially be eliminated. DK takes Game 1. It was a very slow game to start. I heard someone say that was the longest period of time before First Blood was taken in any game yet played, which it was around 15 minutes in, so pretty long time. But IG, I think they didn't get the draft that they really wanted.
DK's turn to
DK, they got the draft they wanted, and they played it pretty well. Interesting choice to go for Mechanism on Alchemist, but really worked out. And RTK on Clockwork. He got his levels a little bit late, but he had some big hook shots and cogs throughout the game. I mean, he was probably him or QQQ were really big, tied for
10
MVP,
seconds
if you will.
remaining.
Which I think Clock is a great ROTK hero.
5 seconds remaining.
He loves to play aggressive. He's the most
DK's
aggressive
turn
person
to
on
pick.
DK, and he can bring them into the fights. He identifies the opportunities and was really good against IG, given how teamfight oriented both lineups were, or particularly DK's lineup. So IG, we'll see if they can get a draft they're more comfortable with. They do manage to get the OD right after the beginning, which, despite having a poor win rate, I think this hero is kind of OP. Wins just about every
10
single mid
seconds
matchup,
remaining.
and it's been a few games that I've seen an OD, so I'm actually kind
IG's
of
turn to pick.
I'm glad to see an OD. He was getting picked very frequently and then getting banned constantly. DK will pick up the Razor. I haven't seen DK how they do the Razor. It's a bit of a trendy pick right now, and it's always tough to tell which teams have been practicing these heroes that have been trending a lot,
10 seconds remaining.
and which teams have picked up a hero that's trending because it's
5
considered
sec- 5
really strong, and
seconds remaining.
they have seen its power and they want to make use of that.
Reserve
Clearly, the
time.
teams that have those heroes practiced are at an advantage.
IG's turn
But when it comes to OD
ban.
and Razor, practice definitely helps in
DK's
the
turn to ban.
perfection of your execution. So we'll see. I don't know what the history is with Razor and DK. They do get a Visage though, really great tri-lane support. Unlikely that IG will run an aggressive tri-lane, so
10 seconds
I suspect that
remaining.
it's probably going to be another pair of suicide lanes.
5
If I
seconds
had to take a guess, if I were a betting man, these two teams just don't tend to.
Reserve time.
Chinese teams, they just very rarely run the aggressive tri-lanes, so not a big shocker there.
IG's
Anti-mage gets
turn
banned
to
out.
ban.
IG doesn't want to see or ever witness the burning anti-mage. It is a terror to behold. But IG, I think this lineup already is a little bit better than it was before. OD is a great Ferrari hero. High impact,
seconds
early in the
remaining.
game, can snowball. Somewhat, it's not a big of a snowball hero as say a TA
Reserve
or a
time.
Shadow Fiend, but with a good, strong early start can make it really hard to come back. That said, if it's a Razor mid, which it very may well be, given that they pick the Razor after the OD, then OD will still win the lane, but can have a lot of trouble, particularly with the unstable current. Okay, max out the
DK's
unstable
turn
current,
to ban.
and every time OD imprisons you, you take damage. That's how it works. They'll also pick up the Weaver, and I haven't seen a lot of Weaver from IG,
10 seconds remaining.
and I guess it's going to be a Zhou Weaver. It
5
could be.
seconds remaining.
There's always the potential for an off-lane Weaver. But you really only want Weaver in a 1v1 circumstance, because he wins most 1v1 matchups, and he does pretty well in almost all of them. So I'll be curious to see how IG is going to lane this. I think tri-lane Weaver is a little unnecessary. Tri versus Tri, Weaver doesn't really offer a lot. He's somewhat easy to kill when you've got 3
DK's
heroes
turn to pick.
involved, and struggles with getting his last hits, because one of the benefits of Shikuchi is being able to get in there and get out. And when you're rolling up against one hero, the punishment that the other team can put onto you for doing that is very low. But if you're up against 3 heroes, Shikuchi becomes a lot less useful for last hitting, and it's much more about escaping. So try versus try, Weaver doesn't really work out. You can put him in a defensive try lane, but I think it's kind of unnecessary because of how well Weaver performs in lane. So we'll see what IG's going to go for here. DK banned out the Treant Protector and the Tinker. They've seen IG pick Treant Protector before, and the Tinker. I haven't seen IG play it. Honestly, the only team that I think I've seen get picked that pick up Tinker is Orange.
10 seconds
I do believe. There was one other team, and I don't remember who it was.
5 seconds remaining.
It would be an interesting addition to IG's lineup. Very greedy if they were to go for that. There has been some Tinker in tri-lane scenarios, particularly if you can get some kind of mana regen to help him out with that. Keeper of the Light, Crystal Maiden can help out with continuing the spam that he likes to put out to make him work in either 1v1s or tri-lane circumstances. So interesting ban from DK. I'm not sure what the logic behind the Tinker ban is. IG will pick up a Naga Siren. Looks to be a support Naga. That's pretty much the universal choice these days. Helps their team fight out quite a bit, but they are picking it into both a Visage and a Rubik, who offer something against Naga Siren. Have seen a number of stolen sleeps in this game.
10 seconds
It's
remaining.
really easy for Naga Siren to prevent it from being stolen.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, you have 7 seconds with which to cast whatever spells you so desire during the duration of that sleep. So I don't know that there's too many reasons why it should be stolen, but yet we keep seeing it. There is the possibility, since there is a travel time on the sleep as it radiates out from Naga. If Rubik is far enough out, he can steal the spell as it's as it radiates out. So that's a possibility, but that's kind of unlikely positioning or luck for Rubik. I mean, the window for that is very small. DK will go for the Enigma once more. This is something of a block pick. It's possible for IG to have taken that, and that would have worked pretty well with the Naga Siren. I've seen that a couple times. It's a very easy combo. It's a wombo combo for sure. High cooldown on both of those, both the sleep and the black hole. But the sleep really sets up for easy black holes. So DK, in addition to denying that, they pick it up themselves. They had really good success with it early game.
10 seconds
But I kind of wonder how well it's going to work in this game. IG will once more go for the Vengeful Spirit to try and deal with the Enigma. Now they have multiple ways of stopping these black holes, which they basically had the Dragon Tail from Dragon Knight and the swap from Vengeful Spirit, and they just weren't able to, because DK didn't go for a black hole until Enigma had his BKB. It was all on Vengeful Spirit. So we'll have to see.
Reserve time.
It's possible for OD to imprison Enigma before he comes into the fight, and that can really ruin his chances at all of getting in there for the black hole. And the sleep as well, long range, very large AoE, so BKB will be required for this Enigma to have an impact in this game. And I worry a little bit for DK's damage right now. They basically got Razor, who'll be relying on that static link, and they've got Visage with Soul Assumption and his familiars. And I don't know if that's going to be enough. If they get a full duration black hole off, all bets are off, but that's a dubious affair. I'm trying to think of what IG still need. If it's going to be Ferrari OD, possibly, I mean, is it a Joe Weaver or a YYF Weaver? That's what I want to know. So IG may still be looking for, I mean, they could run the aggressive tri-lane. I think they're the only Chinese team that would. I've seen DK do it, but they didn't look so hot. Not quite as comfortable with that circumstance. So they could be looking for a suicide laner, or they could be looking for a safe lane carry to, or sorry, an aggressive tri-lane carry.
10 seconds.
Since they would leave Weaver in that 1v1 up top. DK, since they're probably going to send Razor mid, they'll have Visage and Rubik down at bottom with, I mean, is it an Enigma and a 1v1? I've seen that before. Enigma can go in 1v1s decently, depending on who you're up against. The Eidolons provide a lot of auto attack damage. It kind of works very similarly to how Nature's Prophet functions, except it's not quite as good for Enigma. He gets more out of the jungle than he will in any lane. And it's very chancy. Enigma's easy to gank. And if there's any AoE, then you can be feeding your Eidolons, which are worth a good chunk of gold. But we have seen it, and not in TI3, but in the past, it used to actually be much more common. Even versus suicide lanes, that showed up occasionally, which was done to some success. You can get levels. I don't think it would work for DK in this circumstance.
10 seconds remaining.
But the reason I keep talking about that is that we have a Visage, Rubik, and Enigma, and if Razor's going to be mid, I don't know where they're going to lane all of these heroes. It'll be a very crowded jungle if it's both Visage and Rubik handling pulls. With a lone druid pick, maybe that will go mid against OD. Have seen a bit of lone druid versus OD. Navi ran that. They put Dendi on lone druid and sent him versus the OD to good success.
10 seconds remaining.
So it's a proven strategy and it works pretty decently. Orange did the same thing.
5 seconds remaining.
But I don't know. The lanes for DK are just a question for me. I don't know.
5 seconds remaining.
Whatever setup they do, I don't know that it's going to work very well for them. IG rounded out with a Windrunner. They could go for the sort of Navi style ancient stacking Windrunner, or they could just send her into the offlane by herself, which I think would work pretty decently. Have to be a little bit afraid of Enigma coming in with the Malefice. But other than that, it's just the telekinesis and the soul assumption that Windrunner has to be afraid of. So we'll see how IG runs their lanes. I think they have a lot of options. They could even potentially go for an aggressive tri-lane if they wanted to, but I don't think they do. They don't really have to. They can probably get more out of the map overall if they go defensive and just guarantee lots of pulls. Super is on Razor right now. It is theoretically possible for Burning to go mid.
10 seconds remaining.
He's usually the lone druid player, so he may be.
5 seconds
I don't know how Super's lone druid is. I haven't seen it before. So whoever the better lone druid player is should go mid versus OD. But if Super stays on Razor, then perhaps they'll send Razor in that matchup.
Prepare for battle.
I guess the one last option for DK is that they could put Burning into the offlane to do offlane solo, which would be very unique. Haven't seen Burning ever do offlane solo before. Very risky. Very risky indeed. I'm going to stop trying to predict DK's lanes. I don't think they're going to do anything that I predict. Overall, I think these drafts are both fairly strong. I'm a little worried for DK. Razor and Lone Druid have the potential to do very little in these fights. I think IG are going to be able to be a lot more aggressive in the early game, and I think up against DK, if they get any early kills on
30 seconds to battle.
Enigma, that can be very problematic. What is RTK? RTK is the one on Enigma now. They swapped up the roles. We shall see. This does not appear to be... Well, we'll see. I don't know what IG's lanes are going to be either. Lots of possibilities here.
The battle begins.
Is it Reaver mid? Really? They that worried about Razor? Or is it Enigma? What in the name of Sam Hill is going on here? Okay. Things are shaping up, and they are all kinds of fucked up. Immediate D ward here by DK, getting rid of that top rune coverage. Well, down at bottom, we've got Ferrari on OD, which I got that one right, versus Burning on Lone Druid, and it's basically the same matchup, perhaps the one that IG was trying to avoid, but DK ends up getting it. Interesting matchup. Well, it is an interesting matchup, but it's I think perhaps what IG was trying to avoid, and they do not successfully do so, perhaps forcing an immediate rotation out of IG, because it seemed like they were considering an aggressive tri-lane from IG. And as long as this is a 1v1, it's good for Burning, but I really don't know how Burning is in a more suicide lane circumstance. He does play a very good lone druid, but there's a different mentality that it takes to be a 3 position, the off laner, because you can really be punished. So it will depend a lot on what IG opts to do. Chuan's going to be on that support Naga Siren. Faith will be on Vengeful Spirit, who has spent mana stunning creeps. Don't know what that's about. So an odd start to IG's early game here. Faith and Chuan alone can really I'm this lone druid offlane. I mean, they can help kill the bear. They can do a lot of work on it. So I'm concerned for the amount of time that Faith has spent not involved in the lane, rotating between top and bottom. Over mid, we're gonna have Joe on Weaver versus RTK on Enigma. Enigma actually didn't consider the possibility of a mid, but he's viable as a mid. Burning as a haste rune right now. I guess now he's realized the supports have rotated down there, and he will go mid. What? This game. What is going on? I'm having no luck predicting how these matchups are going to go. If it's Lone Druid versus Weaver, that's it's good for Lone Druid, and better than ROTK would have done against Weaver. That matchup definitely favors Weaver. Enigma can do very well in mid, just not against someone like Weaver, where his damage is he can easily take down the Eidolons, and can avoid a lot of the auto attack harass with Shikuchi. So DK, they'll put RTK in the jungle now, where his farm will be much safer, and that leaves Ferrari alone down at bottom. So maybe IG will rotate once more. They could put Joe down at bottom, and then Burning is doing his own blocking, spending his time out of the lane. Seems like a potential mistake here. With all the rotation that DK is doing, I think that more than makes up for whatever the wasted time Faith has had down at bottom. Perhaps they're expecting someone to be bottom from DK. Very weird game so far. YYF has completely abandoned the top lane. He's on Windrunner this game. He's doing some stacking and some jungling of his own to find his creeps. He could be doing the Ancients. I think that would probably be more experience than what he's getting right now, but if you don't start on it early, it can take a while to pick up. Burning is sending his bear into the jungle here. He's challenging some of the pulls from IG. I wasn't able to see if he got any kills off of that. Up at top, we've got MMY on Rubik and QQ on Visage. They've rotated around, looking for anybody behind the tower from IG. Super and RTK are grouped up at top, and they'll start to work on the top tier 1. IG check Roche. There's a net onto the bear. They'll stop him from getting the rune. YWF has returned top to pick up some of the experience that has shown up. But the top tier 1 looks to be dropping to DK. This has got to be one of the strangest early games I've seen from any Chinese team. A constant swapping of lanes. Some of these lanes just don't make sense. There's the bear going down. Burning. Does he have a resummon? Yes, he does. So he won't be without his bear, but it does put it on cooldown. That's 300 gold going away of Faith. Very handy for these supports. In terms of the last hits, I mean, Ferrari and Super have not spent much time moving out of their lanes. Oh, Sandy's Eclipse gets used on Burning, and from the side, there's a teleport in from MMY. Can he show up in time? Burning, he's trying to get out. There's a teleport in from Super. This could be bad for IG, but Burning, will he go down? Yes, yes he will. Chuan, he's trapped inside. Will get picked off by Super, but he does pick up the first blood for that, and he takes down Burning. His bear is now on cooldown for 120 seconds. So his ability to farm just gets nerfed super hard. And forces 2 TPs from DK, so a very favorable engagement for IG. Super is now down bottom up against Ferrari. He is maxing the unstable, or well, he's got one. No, he's got. Ooh, there's a net onto super. Does IG have the damage here? There's no more. Oh, one more right click. He will go down. Too much aggression from IG, but there's a stun onto super. A couple more right clicks, and he will go down. A double kill for MMY, however. Both Vengeful Spirit and Outworld Destroyer going down on the side of IG. But they do get Razor, so it's not the worst trade, and those are 2 kills going on to the support Rubik, so not too disastrous. But nevertheless, they don't really want deaths on Ferrari here, who is building a Midas. Does he have it on the way? No. Does have the recipe, though, so he can pick up the Gloves of Haste at the side shop anytime he wants. A level 6 on MMY right now. Pretty fortunate for him. What does he steal? He steals Imprisonment. Great steal for him. It's a nice disable to have. And really helps undo any imprisonments that he suffers. It is really high mana cost, however. That's the biggest problem. Does not have the ability to sustain his mana in the same way as OD. So Burning, he's now up at top. He has spent time in every single lane in this game, and we're 7 minutes in. YWF, he'll pop the Wind Run, he'll get away from the Malices of ROTK, as well as the potential Black Hole. Since ROTK, he's hit his level 6. Despite his time mid, he's making a pretty good pace. Useful to his team. Oh, that Shackle. It was a nice Shackle. That's close. Could have been bad for Burning. He will have his Bear now. Just comes off cooldown. Spent all this time without it. He's had a very slow start, and this is really bad for Lone Druid. He's 13-6 right now. He's behind YYF, that offlane Windrunner. Ooh, YYF. He's still got mana for Windrun, but I don't think he's going to make it out of this. The Malefice comes out. The Fade Bolt. Oh, but he pops the Windrun, but the Black Hole is forced out from ROTK. An expensive kill for DK, but a kill nonetheless, and it's a kill for Burning. Really going to help him catch up. Oh, there's a stun onto QQQ. IG will find an easy kill on mid. And Joe picks up the last hit on that too, so it's kind of an even trade in terms of kills. And the mid tier 1 starts to take a lot of damage. No Fortify available, but there will be a TP by Super. This is the second TP from Super, perhaps a third. Starting to lose track. It's expensive for a core like this to be rotating this often and this much. So I feel like all this back and forth is favoring IG. They're not spending as much on TPs. In fact, I really don't think they've spent anything on TPs so far, and I've seen a number from DK. A lot of wasted time on Burning. He's not had a good start in terms of last hits, which means his impact on this game will not be felt for easily another 15 to 20 minutes. However, Ferrari down at bottom, I'm not sure why he's as far behind on last hits as he is. He's had this lane mostly to himself for most of his time down here. And a rather late Midas, given that he's had this lane alone. Looking at 9 minutes, and that's getting pretty late for an OD Midas. For some heroes, that's perfectly fine, but not for an OD. You need a bit sooner than that. And with no other items in his inventory, that's not his boots. It's going to be a while before he's having his impact, so that's the good news for DK, is that the hero I think that IG is most reliant on to make this mid-game work for them is a little bit behind. The good news for IG is that Joe is having a great start. He's topping the last hit charts right now. He's picked up his treads, Aquila, and a wand. He's got plenty of survivability. It's going to be hard to take down. And he's rotated up to top to challenge Burning's farm. Weaver's pretty good versus Lone Druid. Lots of auto attacks that can be thrown on the bear. Can throw out the swarm to decrease the armor on the bear, which further increases the efficiency of harass.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And pretty hard to take down. Oh, Ferrari. There's a smoke here by DK. He's gonna get caught, no problem. Probably could have defensive disrupted himself there to save his life. Or to delay his death is really what I mean. And potentially there could have been a TP from Twan. He just hit 6 and has the sleep available. It was perhaps had not had that available at the beginning of that gank. Good gank from DK. creating an opportunity, and this is... every time I see OD in the safe lane, I feel like this happens where he's just not getting quite as much farm as he's supposed to, and you expect him not to get ganked, but he does. I don't know. I'm worried about the impact that Ferrari's going to have in this game, and I wonder why they put Joe mid over Ferrari. There's a smoke up here from IG, but I don't know. I mean, DK just ganked this, and I don't think they're going to be showing up anytime soon. I mean, at best, step out and try and get some farm in this lane, but I don't think it's going to happen. He's no fool. Oh, up at top. There's a black hole used onto Joe. Will they be able to take him down fast enough? He's still got the time lapse available. There's a telekinesis used immediately afterwards, and the Malphus perfectly timed. That was a narrow window that they had to time their stuns. The Malphus had to come exactly at the end of the telekinesis. They could not let him get his time lapse off, and they didn't. So great gank. Once again, expensive given that they're having to use the black hole for these solo kills, but that's fine. They're taking the kills where they can get them, and they're executing these ganks really well. Bottom tier 1 does drop to IG, so they find their first tower of the game, evening that situation up for IG. And really, that's a very important kill on Joe. He's had such a great start. Had a lot of free farm. Taking him out is a high priority. Nonetheless, MMY, he's picked up his arcane boots. ROTK working towards a mech. Does not appear to be going straight for a BKB this game. Burning. Nothing but phase. Phase on his heroes. 1800 gold stored up. Probably going to go for the Radiance. Joe treads Aqua, 1300 gold on top of that. YYF working on his own mechanism, and he's got arcane boots. I always feel a little sad when I see arcane boots on winner. By the way, the mechanism finished on QQQ, or no, ROTK. I always feel sad when I see the arcane boots on Windrunner, because I feel like with her great attack animation, the phase are just so strong, and plus, you know, her mobility, getting her in position for great shackle shots, it's helped by the phase boots. Nonetheless, since she is building a mechanism, her mana pool can be a little bit stressed out, and her team, yeah, maybe needs her to build arcane boots. That's one thing about arcanes, is that it's not always just about that specific hero. It can be about what your team needs. Ferrari, he's managed to catch up in some of the last hits that he was missing. He's now in third place for that category. Picked up his treads. I think that's one thing that I kind of questioned about this. I mean, if you go for the mechanism on Windrunner, I mean, that could be... IG's gonna get spotted here. Yeah, the familiars see them. The smoke tank fails. But you can put the mechanism on OD, and I really like that build. I think it's one of the best builds you can do for OD. So tanky, so annoying to kill. I mean, being able to have a mechanism and have it be an efficient item on a semi-carry, that's a beautiful thing. MY tries to get in range with the smoke, but just couldn't quite get in there. He actually opts to give up the Shukuchi in favor of Astral Imprisonment. The familiars in mid will try and slow down the push from IG, but the mid tier 1 does drop to IG, no problem. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, MMY Shukuchi is probably a little stronger than Astral Imprisonment. Maybe the spell was fading. It's always a possibility. You got to make sure that you always have something stolen. No point in holding on to Shukuchi for 30 seconds if you're just about to lose it anyways. 14 minutes in, it's 3-6. It's about 2,000 gold in favor of IG and 3,000 experience in favor of DK, since they have that kill advantage. Pretty close game in terms of how this progresses forward. I don't think either team has a gross advantage in terms of the late game or in team fights. It's all going to depend on initiation and potential ganks. MMY, he's going to come in. Can he land a telekinesis? Yes, he does. The plasma field flies out. Self-imprisonment will buy time, but because he's chosen the build of Ferrari, bottom tier 1 drops as a result of this kill. Because he's chosen to max out Arcane Orb, he has only a 2-second imprisonment, and if he had a full duration imprisonment, it would provide plenty of time for Chuan to come in with the sleep. And really a lot of more rotation support outside of that. I mean, IG, they can try and find trades elsewhere on the map. Up at top, Zhou tries to find a tower kill here, but Super has maxed out his static link. Zhou is hitting for negative damage right now. He's 104 minus 215 damage. He literally does not deal damage, and he doesn't seem to be processing this. Really, Super is being awfully passive given how hard he can hit right now. I mean, literally he can like four shot Zhou. So I don't know what that was all about. But the top tier 1 gets denied by Super, in no small part because of that static link. Mechanism finished on YYF. That's available for his team. Ferrari, I'm not feeling his impact in this game. Looks like he's building a force staff, which will help his mobility, but I don't know. We've yet to see him pick up a single kill in this game. Is that correct? He's assisted in 2, but he's died 3 times, and this is an OD. I don't know that IG is really making appropriate use of OD in this game. We're getting into 17 minutes, and this is really when OD should be at his prime. He should be a fearsome beast to all of DK, and he's just impotent right now. Does not have the farm. And IG, they just feel lost here. I mean, we've not seen yet a single sleep, or really any rotation from the supports on IG. They've let Ferrari die twice, and part of that is, I think, the fault of the build that Ferrari's gone for. If he had 2 points more in imprisonment, quite possibly would have lasted long enough to allow his team to arrive. But because he didn't, that's how things have ended up. Burning, he's sitting on 3,700 gold, so he is going for that Radiance. DK starts to work in the mid-tier 1. Will IG challenge this? I mean, they're nowhere nearby. There's a haste rune on Ferrari. If the sleep comes out from Chuan, they could make this work. The sleep, or the shackle does not land for YYF. Zhou, he's thinking about it. Net lands on QQQ. Oh, the damage, Zhou, he's come in. Big Sanity's equips. Was that a defensive imprisonment? Yes, it was. I don't know if that stops the damage or not. I don't think it does. So, Sanity's Eclipse gets used, and DK will back off. They don't really invest a lot into that. They force IG to rotate, but there was no sleep from Chuan. That's where I really wonder. Are they not interested in setting up a kill? I think they could if they really wanted to, especially given the lack of mana. Sanity's Eclipse is far from useless if it's, if there's no major intelligence advantage on OD, because it will still burn mana, which is pretty useful, especially versus Enigma, whose mana pool really suffers. That said, RTK working on his BKB. He's gonna have that relatively soon. There's the relic up on Burning's Bear. I think Radiance is going to be very effective in this game, and Burning, he's managed to catch up pretty decently in the scheme of things. I mean, he had that terrible start, so I can't blame him too much for being 5th on net worth right now. But once he has that Radiance, I think things are really going to pick up for him. And I don't know that... I guess, IG's not falling behind here. I mean, they're only 2,000 experience behind, and they're 2,000 gold ahead, which really comes, that's almost the value of that mid-tier 1, which they have over DK. So there's no major advantage between the two teams here. But I just feel like DK are in a stronger position. Like, they're the ones that can take these fights how they want. RTK doesn't quite get the Malithus off on YYF. They'll finish off the mid-tier 1. Burning picks up the last hit on that, and that could potentially be the completion of his Radiance in just a minute here. YYF, he's working on His own Force Staff. Joe spending a lot of time up at top on his own. He's about to finish his Lincoln Sphere, which 20 minutes in, pretty strong timing. But I don't know what a Lincoln Sphere is going to do for him in this game. It's going to stop telekinesis, static link. I think static link is. Oh, Joe. Where does he have to go? He can Shikuchi away and potentially time lapse and kind of double back on them, which I think honestly might be his best bet. But he is just going to Shikuchi away. They can't quite wrap around on him, so he will make it out. There's the Radiance finished on burning. 21 minutes in, not bad, all things considered. R2K, he's only about 1,400 gold away from his Black King bar. Joe immediately returns to top, which he's wasting a lot of DK's time for how much they really want to gank him, but there's a sentry ward placed behind here, so he's got to be careful of that. And R2K may just opt to use the black hole. Yep, that is what they will do. Can they finish him off in time? Nope. No time lapse for him. He will drop. It's another kill on Joe. Bear gets netted up. They'll stun it. Can they finish off the bear? But Super's coming in from the side, and there's a teleport from R2K. The sleep is used by Chuan. It's going to help his team escape from this, but Faith is on the run from Super. So Super nevertheless finds himself another kill. And the sleep gets blown on an expensive set of escapes. I mean, it's nice that you can save your teammates that way, but you're still, I mean, it's still not ideal. You're forcing everybody to TP out. It's an expensive escape, and you're not actually picking up an objective. The other problem for IG, DK are taking Roche. And I don't know that IG can actually challenge this. With the Mystic Staff on Ferrari, he may be headed straight for that Sheep Stick. Lincoln Sphere finished on Joe despite that early death. But as mentioned before, what is he stopping with his Lincoln Sphere that is going to help him survive? It's not going to be the Entangle. It's not going to help with the Black Hole. Not going to help with the Familiar Stuns. There's a lot of ways that DK can keep him down, regardless of that Lincoln Sphere, and not to mention they're going to have damage not too long from now. That said, it does increase his survivability. Good stats for him. So it's not the worst item, but I just kind of feel like IG, they are a little lacking in reliable damage right now. They're really dependent on Ferrari, and he just does not. Ooh, Joe. The Sentry Ward is here. The Sentry, actually, the Lincoln Sphere will save his life there, just barely. Stops the telekinesis, so saves him from one death. Burning, he's up in IG's jungle right now. Feel like DK overall, they're getting a little bit more out of the map right now. Chuan, he's tanked up a little bit. Got a 4-man shield, treads, and an urn. Gotta remember that deflection from the poor man shield does apply to all of his illusions, so it can make them a little bit tankier, especially versus creeps. And familiars as well. Can't forget those. Is that a Force Staff on the way? Yep, it's a Force Staff picked up for YYF. Faith has an Invis rune here. Needs to be careful about that Radiance damage, but looks to be an AC up next for Burning. Good strong pushing on him, Joe. He's able to time-lapse out this time. Probably thanks to that Lincoln Sphere, so I might have to eat my words a little bit on that. Stopping the telekinesis is a pretty big deal in terms of allowing him to escape. DK are going to stick around up by top, though, and wait to see if Joe will stay in. Lincoln Sphere is still here. Can he get the telekinesis off? Oh, he gets lifted up. He gets pulled back. And there are the stuns, the familiar stuns. No more time left available, but he gets Force Staffed out. Nice Force Staff from YYF will save his life. Narrowly escapes. There's a lot of time being spent by DK trying to gank Joe, and some of it's successful, so I think overall it's worth it, but it is wasting a lot of DK's time. But meanwhile, Burning farms on his own. Ferrari and Faith are here. They can probably take this kill and get him down at least once. But the Radiance on the bear can work on Faith. And Ferrari, he's going to try and do this, but it's going to be a close call. Drops the Sanity's Eclipse, and wow, what a close fight there. Both Ferrari and Faith just narrowly escaping. And actually, Faith will still go down. Perhaps to some creeps. Credited to Burning. Super shows up at just the very end there, and Ferrari definitely would have died to the plasma field alone. So, a good gank for IG. They find a kill here in this game. Was not sure if Burning would be able to 2v1 them with that Aegis. And certainly it was very close. It was a really good defensive disruption, or defensive imprisonment from Ferrari onto Faith. It's what allowed it to go as decently as it did. But nevertheless, I mean, Burning does walk out with a kill from that, even if he doesn't get any of the experience for it. Ultimate Orb up in Ferrari. He's just around the corner from his Sheep Stick, which I think is very important for IG. Chuan would really like to get his level 11 to help out with that sleep cooldown. With that that belt of strength pickup, I think he's going to be going for the Heaven's Halberd, which he's seen a number of times now. Really good for Illusion Zero. Nice double shackle, bear to the QQQ. To the bear to QQQ. Got the definite article mixed up there. Super gets the last hit on the mid tier 2, so a free tower for DK, but the sleep is popped by Chuan. It catches 3 here, 4 in fact. Is there any follow-up from IG? They hesitate. They know that they don't have the Sanity's Eclipse. A wasted sleep from Chuan. Doesn't pull anything off. I don't know what the purpose of that sleep was. Perhaps hoping to give Zhou time to solo Burning? I don't think Zhou can do that, so... A big wasted cooldown from IG. Not making anything happen with it. BKB is up on Super, as well as the Ags. This is I love the Ags build on DK. Works very well versus towers, and gives him a good, I mean, all of the stats are stats that he needs. He needs the mana to be using his spells, especially if you go for an Ags, then you want to be spamming the Eye of the Storm, really. And that's 200 mana every time you do that. Razor doesn't have the highest natural mana pool, so all the extra mana is appreciated, the strength is appreciated, and certainly the agility. Stat-wise, great item, and I think strategy-wise, also very useful. QQQ, he's got his medallion, he's working on his Ags, he's a little over halfway there, making pretty good pace. BKB up on ROTK alongside that mechanism. Pretty good core of items available now for this Enigma. Zhou's got 2,500 gold. I don't know what he's going to be picking up next. He could be going for Radiance. I think in this game, maybe not the best pick, given that Burning is very tanky. There's a BKB up on Super and ROTK as well. I think something like an MKB would probably be much stronger. Provides another stun to help deal with the black hole. Plus lots of efficient damage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
DK spending a lot of time walking back and forth as IG apply pressure to both towers. I don't know what IG's long-term strategy is here. Ferrari has finally managed to catch up and farm. He had a very poor start, and we've not really felt the impact of OD in this game. Another thing to keep in mind is there's 2 BKBs on DK right now, and that completely stops all the orb damage from Outworld Devourer, which really really harms his DPS. I mean, part of the reason he scales nicely is because of that arcane orb. And if he's not able to use that, then that's kind of it. Even Sanity's Eclipse gets blocked by BKB. Looks to be a sheepstick coming up on my way up. It'll be a while before he has that. There's a smoke up on 4 here from DK. They are not going to find anybody. They don't really have much vision on the map. Neither team does. I mean, you can see this is IG's vision. This is DK's vision. They have no clue where each other are. Do they at least have wards? They do have wards. They can make use out of this time. It's important.
Dire's
Really
top tower
important.
is under attack.
They could catch IG here if they opt to go to the left. They drop a ward down. I don't think it quite spots IG. There is a sentry here, which could potentially spot out DK. I don't know. They're right on the edge of that vision radius. Yeah, not quite spotting them out. Although it doesn't show any of the vision. And sentries do provide just a little bit of vision. So, unfortunate that it doesn't show that. Roche will be back up in 1 minute, which I think DK are probably in a more favorable position overall to take that fight, but IG really should try to challenge it. We have not yet seen much in the way of black holes this game. They've basically been 2, and they've been for solo kills. Wow, look at this Rax drop. The Demolish combined with the Eye of the Storm. It's just getting burnt through. But IG, they find a tower trade, and they even get some damage onto the mid-tier one. No deny available. So 2 towers for IG. They get the better part of that trade, catching them up in gold a little bit. Right now, it is still pretty even. I mean, we're looking at 1,500 gold in favor of IG and 0 experience either way. Joe, he has spent his money and he has picked up a Desolator. I don't know. It's gonna be really effective versus the supports and will help their pushing power. I really like Desolator on Weaver. I think of the damage items you can get, it's pretty good. But against Burning and Super, they're not too concerned about a Desolator. They're pretty high natural armor, and they're only going to get tankier, especially once that AC is up from Burning. So I tend to favor the MKB just for the mini stun, so that you can have another way to stop the black hole from ROTK. I get QQQ and RTK confused because they just swapped off the Enigma between these 2 games. Top tier 2 gets taken out by Joe. Only 1 outer tower remaining on the map right now. Roche is back up, and I think both teams are going to be looking forward to this. It's their time to shine. In terms of DPS, I think probably favors IG a little bit, but they're a little squishier, and a big black hole is really what DK needs. They're going to start to work on it, and they've got plenty of minus armor to make this go down really fast, and I don't think IG's responding fast enough. Are they just going to give up a Roche? It appears to be the case. IG, I don't know if they didn't have the timing. All things are possible. But by giving that up, I mean, they're locking themselves down in a very bad way for the next 10 minutes. Next 6 minutes, I guess. They can find a trade in the jungle, and ooh, this is a smart ward here placed by DK. Not one that you would expect. But will DK be able to capitalize on it? They don't have any blinks, they don't have any initiation. Joe gets hit with familiar stuns. Can Super stay on top of him, and do they have the vision? No, it appears they do not. A little frustrated with DK right now. No blinks up on them. I mean, RTK could buy it right now. There you go. Their ability to find kills in these games is very limited, and IG, they're just looking so passive, and when IG's at their best, I don't think that's really the best circumstance for them. I mean, Ferrari, has he picked up a kill this game? Nope, he's 0-3. That's not how you want Ferrari to start off in the game. The best games for IG have been where Ferrari gets kills in the beginning. To put it, I mean, that's the only way to put it. That's what he did versus Liquid. And it worked like a charm. They took that 2-0. Ag Scepter nearly done for QQQ. No pickups for Faith just yet. There is a BKB up on Ferrari. Don't remember when he got that, but that's his most recent item pickup. It's not going to help versus the Entangle, and doesn't do anything versus the Static Link. Static Link is not really too much of a concern for him, since all of his damage comes through the orb, which Static Link does not affect. TP out by YYF. Haven't seen a lot out of YYF this game either. He's been playing pretty safely. He's only got 1 death, which is an off-lane windrunner. Pretty good achievement. Well, okay, we're 4-10, 36 minutes into this game. 1,000 XP, 4,000 gold. There's nothing really separating these two teams. DK, they can exert more control on the map. Actually, up at top, Joe. He's gonna force an immediate TP back. There's Fortify available, and DK aren't using it. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. No lucky roots for burning. So Joe, that was a sleep use by Chuan. They had apparently caught nobody. Huh. Well, at least he's level 11 now, so it's only 120 seconds for that to be down, and given the way this game has gone, unlikely that sleep will be needed in the next 2 minutes. The Aegis is still up on burning, but it's gonna get reclaimed. I mean, that's what it seems like. Because DK forced it back by Joe up at top. Using a Desolator this way, certainly a strong way to use it. RTK, he's got his blink, but there's no gem up on DK. Oh, there it is. It's on QQQ. But he's not the one with the blink dagger. Really, I'd say give it to RTK. Let him get in there. Find that kill. Is there a gem up for IG? Yep, they've got one on Chuan. Is going to be going for that Heaven's Halberd. I think I've talked about that in like 4 different games, so I will decline to comment on how great Heaven's Halberd is for Nagasar. Except for QQQ. Joe, what's he gonna buy? It's a heart! Taking up is a good idea. He does need to be able to live long enough to pop his time-lapse off, and between the roots and the various stuns that DK has, I think it is a good item choice. It doesn't increase his DPS, which is going to leave IG a little bit... They're kind of left hanging in terms of the DPS they need to take burning or super down. And super's just going to get tankier. He's purchased an Eagle Song. Oh, Joe. There's a smoke here by DK. Can they make this kill happen? Can they do it? They're going to blink forward. It's the black hole onto Joe. Oh, but there's a huge swap. A nice sacrifice from Faith. He will save his carry. And the black hole is spent for the measly kill of a Vengeful Spirit. I bet DK feel like assholes now. Well, with the black hole spent, with the Aegis about to be reclaimed, DK will return to farming for the next 3 minutes. Butterfly finished on super. How is this game gonna end? I feel like DK are desperate for their opportunity. They really want a black hole that's just gonna solve their problems, but IG are not gonna, I mean, given that teams have spent the better part of the last 3-4 years playing against Enigma, and Magnus is just like, he's an amped up, more drastic version of Enigma, teams have spent so long playing against these heroes, they know how to play against them. They're not going to be giving up any big black holes in the late game unless you catch them in the heat of the heat of the moment, which I think that's one of the advantages of the Western style over the Eastern style, because the Western teams, like going up against Alliance or Na'Vi, you see how many kills they produce in a game. They overload their opponents, they make them panic, they force them into making mistakes that they can then capitalize on. When you're in this kind of game, when it's very slow, when it's very patient play, you're not going to find those black holes. You're not going to find the initiation. You can see IG, they've got the map awareness. They know exactly when to back off. And DK will have spent a smoke and some time to group up into the enemy jungle, which is all time that Joe has to go farm top. I think this back and forth, I mean, you can see it produces no legitimate results for either team. So the only way to combat this is to be more aggressive. But how, like, once you get to the 30-40 minute mark, you can't do that anymore. You can't really afford to be messing with the enemy's heads and diving towers, because you can't get out of position, and you've kind of forced yourself into the situation where finding the advantage is impossible. So you've now led yourself into a very even late game, where any small mistake can turn the game around. I mean, Dendi, there's a very famous quote from Dendi that I've mentioned in previous casts. You know, why would you? He says, why would you want to go in the late game, where every decision matters, where one single mistake can bring your entire team down from one player. And that's true across all levels of play, whether professional or pubs. That's what happens when you get into the late game. Someone gets caught out, and all of a sudden it's over. And either they didn't realize soon enough that they couldn't afford to be that far out, or there's just a case of outplaying. Either way, it's a dangerous circumstance for either team, and it's putting a lot. I mean, both the Chinese teams, I mean, the reason they're comfortable doing this is that they're very confident in their team play, their coordination, their ability to not make those mistakes. They always know when to back off. They almost never get picked off. Joe does have a TP here. He should be alright. I don't think he'd be very lucky if he got spotted out by familiars. So they are more comfortable doing this, and when it comes to the late game, the Chinese teams are, you know, probably still the best. So since we're headed into the very late game here, let's compare these lineups. Things are pretty good for IG. They've got the sleep. Chuan's extremely underleveled. He's level 11 at 43 minutes in. Not a great situation for him. But that is the most important level for him, getting the extra 60 seconds off sleep. Pretty crucial. And if there is one big team fight, he will almost hit 16 in one go if he's able to survive the fights. He's also got a decent level of farm. I mean, he's got the halberd up. We'll help him stay alive pretty decently. I wonder if IG, will they challenge this Roche?
Let's make this perfectly clear.
Invis on Chuan. Will there be any utility out of it? It appears not, because there was a ward here from DK, so they saw him pick it up. They're not going to get caught with their pants down. DK will start to work on Roche, and it seems unlikely that IG are going to respond this time. They're just going to let it go once more. This time it's cheese, however. I think that's a big concern for IG. 2,400 gold on Ferrari. Does he have anything on the way? He's picked up another Mystic Staff, so it's going to be a Shiva's this time. Decent pickup, but it's not one of the things about OD is that your first few item pickups are monstrously good. I mean, you get your 4 staff and your sheep stick, and you're this beast. But then you get a Shiva's, and you have made yourself better, but you haven't completely changed how the enemy team sees you. You've just made yourself a little bit tankier, and increased the damage on your ult a little bit. I mean, and you've got 25 extra auto attack damage, because the mana, every other component of the intelligence you get from that item is irrelevant. It's only for the Sanity's Eclipse and for the extra mana pool it gives to your orb attack. I mean, he does hit for... Go, Ferrari. Auto attack something. It's like plus 200. 200 mana. 200 pure damage. So a little over 400 damage, and I mean, that 200 is pure. So that's pretty good. And he hasn't even picked up that other Mystic Staff yet, so that will increase pretty significantly. But the minus attack speed aura that it provides is fairly low, and the AoE damage is basically irrelevant. Can be dangerous for supports, especially when they pop their Ghost Scepters, because there is a Ghost Scepter on MMY now. Smoke up by DK. Will they catch anybody? If they find YYF, could be potential kill, but looks like they see him. They see them coming. And YYF will back out. Everybody TP's away. Should be a decent escape. Though, IG giving up no free kills here. Burning did pick up an MKB on his bear, so that evasion no longer matters. Plus he's got a basher. His bear is pretty tanky right now and deals a lot of damage, but I think that's one concern I have for DK in the late game. So I guess I was starting to analyze this, and then I got distracted by all the action. This bear gets less and less effective as the game goes forward. As much as you can, I mean, you can say that Lone Druid is a 12-slot hero, but if you kill the bear, then that's 6 items going away that you don't have to worry about. And with the pure damage from OD, it gets easier and easier to take this bear down. The armor doesn't matter. He does demolish towers super fast, but so does Joe. It's not like IG doesn't have any ability to take down towers. The tower situation in the game is not completely even. And every time DK tries to push, IG, they're right up at top. Joe in particular, going to work on the towers. 5,600 gold on Joe now. He can pick up his next item. I imagine it'll be an MKB. Could also be a crit. Get his damage up even further. RTK, he's got an Oblivion Staff on him now, so he is working towards a Oh my god, I still call it a Restoration Stone from Han. Refresher Orb. Which, double black hole can be good, but he's only got 1300 HP, period, so his ability to live through these fights is dubious at best. So, I mean, you can see, he's used his BKB once this game. He's had it for over 20 minutes. Everybody from DK is heading up. They would love to kill Joe. Can they get to him in time? The dust is popped, it hits Joe, there's a black hole, onto Joe. The immediate swap, Joe, can he get the time lapse off? Can he live through this? Not quite. And Faith will go down. It's 2 kills for DK. Will they make anything happen off of this? Now, Joe, he does have his buyback, so the amount of problems this creates for IG are limited to none. But it is still a bit of over-aggression, and it was a nice idea with the swap, but just couldn't quite get the animation for his time lapse. And even that heart does not save him. Late game, the Lincoln Sphere really provides very little for him. So many ways to pop it, and it's just becomes kind of useless rather quickly. I think that's why most teams have been opting for the BKB on Weaver. DK would like to force out the buyback, but I don't know that they can pressure the base quite enough. I mean, the next 25 seconds. They will back off as a group. I think, I mean, really, they should have tried to force out the buyback. I think taking that off of Joe is a big deal, and will force him to be a lot less aggressive. Boots of Travel are now up for burning, so he's got a global presence on the map. I think it's actually a very, very important pickup. For a Lone Druid, because wherever you teleport, your bear can instantly join you. You just have to return him. It's no problem. And got a lot of movement speed on top of that. 455 with Rabid. Ain't so bad. The Shivas is up on Ferrari, and his next item, he can sell his Midas. He could go for... He could go for his own Lincoln Sphere. Would be an okay pickup. It's not so much for the survivability, but he just wants more stats, and that's one way of getting them. This game, at this point in the game, Atos is useless, and Yule's decent, but I mean, he's not benefiting from half the stats on it. So I wouldn't say that's particularly viable. I'm trying to think of what else is out there. Show has spent a lot of time up here in the trees. He's bought a Demon Edge. We'll see if it's an MKB or a Daedalus. Faith's still hanging out up here. Faith level 13. Doesn't have that max range swap yet. Very safe retreat pack from Joe. He'll get spotted by burning on his way out, but should otherwise be okay. Faith, he will TP out. Chuan, no items for him in the last 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Two very slow games. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting a little bit more aggression from either team, but perhaps these teams, having played against each other so many times, know each other too well. That can happen after all. No advantage for either team. 3,000 experience. Tick all. So, whenever 5v5 happens this game, because we have not seen a single one, just hasn't happened. It's been almost purely pickoffs and nothing else. Burning's Bear will go down pretty fast, but he does have the resummon, and if IG expends any significant resources on trying to take it down in a fight, then that could be pretty bad. Is that a BKB for the bear? I can't wait to see where this BKB goes. I haven't seen a BKB on a Lone Druid ever. So that's going to be interesting. If it's a BKB for the bear, that's pretty brilliant. That's going to stop a lot of the orb harass from Ferrari, because he will. I mean, he hits for plus 250 pure damage right now. Satanic picked up onto Super. He's now super tanky, and he's still got that cheese from the previous fight. It looks like DK will wait around for the next Roche, and is that... How close is RTK to this refresher orb? He's pretty close. He probably wants to save for buyback at 53 minutes. Buying a refresher orb for a black hole and giving up buyback doesn't seem like a wise trade to me. But Show's hanging out up top, forcing Burning to back up. I really thought those early kills on Burning meant good things for IG early on. But they have turned out to be completely irrelevant. QQQ. Ags, Ghost Scepter, 1,500 gold. Everybody's saving for buyback. There's a recipe for Refresher Orb, so just a few hundred gold away for RTK's Refresher Orb. We'll see what he goes for. Whether he saves for buyback. Ooh. There's a fun pickup. Ferrari has a Refresher Orb now. At this point, he can basically swap out the Force Staff if he wants, but he's item locked. The double Sanity's Eclipse is pretty terrifying for DK. Particularly Burning will get demolished. I mean, he's sitting at 66 66 intelligence, and Ferrari is at exactly 200 intelligence, and that's without swapping his treads, which we can assume. We'll assume 208 intelligence. That's a difference of 140. Positively massive. Now, there's going to be some jockeying around Roche here. Both teams know that it's up. DK trying to sneak it in, but no chance. And now the refresher orb is up in RTK as well. 2 big refresher pickups. So there's another factor, is that if Ferrari lands the Sanity's Eclipse on RTK, he's going to run out of mana if he hasn't popped a BKB first. Now DK, they can do this rush really fast, so IG, they cannot hesitate to go in there. It's all going to depend on the sleep from Chuan. And it will go especially well for IG if the BKBs get popped first, so that they can just focus down. The heroes that popped a BKB on DK. And that is, in fact, a BKB on the bear. Which, I don't think I've seen this before. I feel like maybe once. I have this vague memory of hearing purges, like, deep, monotone, sort of, dispassionate discussion of the merits of, oh, there's a swap onto Super. He gets pulled back in. The Sanity's Eclipse comes out, but there's a black hole from RTK onto Ferrari. The sleep gets thrown out by Chuan. The fight is getting reset here. The familiars get removed instantly. The BKB is popped by Super. Joe, he's on the run. QQQ, he gets sheeped up. Ferrari, he force stabs himself out. Has not yet used his, oh, look at the Sanity's Eclipse on 4. But he gets lifted up. He gets pulled back in. He's gonna go down. Immediate buyback from Ferrari and Joe, but Chuan and Faith will go down. They do not have buyback, and that's going to mean Roche for DK. The only one to fall on DK is ROTK, who managed to pop his refresher before he went down, which, by the way, the cooldown on refresher is lower than the cooldown on black hole, so decent to do that. Oh boy, finally, action. I don't think that IG are going to be able to get there in time. They can try. And DK, because they're just low enough, they're going to back off. Was there a resummon on the bear in that fight? They could not take down the bear. The BKB, very effective at keeping this bear alive. I really like the BKB pickup. Can IG finish off? Can they sneak the Roche? There's a nice shackle onto QQQ. YYF, however, he's taking so much damage. Will get finished off by burning because that bear has an MKB. But Joe, he picks up an Aegis. There's a cheese on the ground, which will be picked up by QQQ. He immediately heals himself back up. He will be alright. Joe, he gets entangled. Another Sanity's Eclipse from Ferrari. I don't think Joe is going to be able to make it out of this. The black hole is still available. He will get swapped out by Faith, but the black hole from ROTK, there is no time lapse for Joe in this fight. Faith is on the run. It looks like DK is going to take this game too, if they push fast enough, which is a big if. They do not have a history of pushing particularly fast, but they certainly can if they want. What a fight. Boy, the one great thing about these games between Chinese teams, the team fights are exciting as all hell, and they're very well executed. It almost makes the long periods of not seeing anything happen worth it. Right at all. Now the sleep is up from Chuan. He can delay this push somewhat, but I think this is going to be a set of racks going down. They can fortify, but it's 45 seconds before Joe is back up. He does not have a buyback available for another 3.5 minutes. And that is the mid-racks going down. With 40 seconds left, I don't think DK have to back off, especially since I believe they've got... Did they use all their cheeses in that fight? I have no idea. I think all the cheeses got used. Super used his at some point. Wow, great fight for... Ooh, there's a swap by Bernie. He gets pulled back by Ferrari, but there's another black hole from ROTK. There's a sleep used by Chuan, which will cancel things out. We'll save... Oh, big Sanity's Eclipse on both DK and Burning, and they will drop. They're out of the fight. IG defend their bottom racks. Huge Sanity's Eclipse from Ferrari. He's got it off cooldown again. He drops it onto Super and QQQ, but there's a buyback from MMY. He gets back into the fight. The Sanity's Eclipse stolen from MMY. Does not matter. Super, he's on the run. He has no more Satanic. But Burning, he's got his boots of travel, so he buys back, gets it back into the fight immediately. Does he have a bear? That is the question. I do not think so. The push is stopped for the time being by IG. The double shackle from YYF and the eclipse from Ferrari were just enough to pull things around. When you get to this late game, it's amazing how short a cooldown 160 seconds becomes. I mean, in the time between these two fights, both ROTK's and Ferrari's refresher orbs came off cooldown, and so there was an opportunity for double ults. So, it's a good fight for IG. They defend their bottom, even their tier 3. That tower manages to stay alive. They're not out of the game yet. They are a little bit behind. They did lose a set of racks, but at 60 minutes into the game, losing racks is not necessarily game over. And they do have, I mean, deaths on Ferrari, he's item locked anyways. It's more about feeding experience and gold to the supports on the enemy team than it is, at least as far as if the base is not in danger, deaths on him are more about that. Because the supports on IG are still suffering here. No items, few levels. So the previous few fights do favor DK. The graphs are kind of meaningless at this point. It's all about play. If there's a pick off, then everything will change. So Joe, he does pick up an MKB with that Demon Edge that he acquired. There's a smoke up by DK. They were trying to find something in the jungle, but no such chance. I feel like I've seen these smoke ganks so many times. There's another BKB up for Burning. He has not just a BKB on his bear, but a BKB on himself. And not just a basher on his bear, but a basher on himself. This is going to be some of the most chain bashing I think I have ever witnessed. This may be one of the most farmed lone druids I've ever seen. Burning is positively massive right now. He has 3100 HP, and all he has on himself right now is a Skull Basher and a Black King Bar. Taking Burning down is going to get harder and harder, and at a certain point, it's not going to be about his bear anymore. Burning himself will be pretty terrifying. And the bear is just going to be a whole bunch of gravy on top of that pile of the mashed potatoes of domination. I don't know. Definitely the most farmed lone druid that I've ever cast. Game has not made it this far in my previous experience. With a lone druid in it, that's what I mean. I've casted longer games than this. God knows. There's also an MKB up on YYF. So IG's DPS is increasing. But the question is it increasing at the same rate as DK's? Now, it's funny, I spent some time talking about how Lone Druid is not actually a 12-slot hero, but Burning's DPS continues to increase. This is the point at which IG would start to catch up, because if Burning were, say, an anti-mage, he would have been 6-slotted 20 minutes ago. And his DPS would not be increasing in any way, shape, or form. But Burning still has 3 slots to do with whatever he wants. And he's still carrying a TP scroll around, perhaps for the sake of his teammates, since he's the one with all these extra slots, as well as sentry wards. I like that, helping out his teammates with inventory slots. Good way to use Lone Druid. That's why people really pick Lone Druid. They want more inventory slots on their team. But Burning, I mean, if he actually gets 6-slotted on himself, that's an extra hero. It turns the game into a 6v5. You can kill the bear, but then you have to kill the monstrosity behind him. So it's gonna be an interesting matchup here. Joe is still not 6-slotted. He's got 2 more item slots. He can get the booth of travel, and I imagine, I mean, a butterfly would be decent, but at this point, I mean, MKBs, they're floating around everywhere. I kind of feel like, is this a rapier game? That's the question. I mean, things are, after those last 2 team fights, I think that this game has turned quite interesting. I don't think a rapier would be a good idea. I don't think he would stay alive for it. You can't get lifesteal on Weaver, especially because he's already got a Desolator, so that's not in the question. But I think in terms of maximum DPS, Joe really has 3 item slots that he can give up. Potentially even 4 if you count the Lincoln Sphere, because as this game goes later, he's gonna have to get a BKB, and that may need to be his next pickup. I don't know what else he can go for. Manta Style is a pretty decent option. A very decent option indeed, but I don't know. There's so many other bashes from. I mean, you're looking at Entangle, Bash, and Bash.
Lightning strikes twice.
Super is 6-slotted at this point. He can buy Boots of Travel, and that will be it for him. Perhaps he'll consider getting rid of the Black King Bar. He could go for a Scotty instead of that, which I think might provide more for him than this BKB does. It'd be more stats, a nice big healthy slow. It would put him up over 3,000 HP, and definitely provides more damage. And I just don't know. I mean, they're not going to be wasting their sheeps on him. I think Burning is really the one that IG has to take down, but maybe it's a tough call. Who do you focus on this team? Do you try and kill Burning? Do you focus him, the bear himself? But that's 3,100 HP. And he's really fast. I mean, he moves at 455 move speed all the time. Not easy to stay on top of. And IG, they kind of lack the stuns necessary to keep him down. Do you focus RTK? Do you need to take the black hole out first before anything else? I mean, certainly if RTK presents himself as a target, I think he's one of the most viable. But these other supports are much easier to take down, and you can't discount them either. Getting rid of the Rubik, getting rid of... I mean, these are 2 Force Staffs that QQQ and MMY provide for their team. So smoke up here from 4 by IAG. Roche is about to come back up. They both know this. This could be the game-deciding fight right here, and it's going to be epic. This much I can guarantee you. I can't believe that RTK still hasn't finished his boots, but has to say for buyback. At this point, I don't even think 1,800 gold will do it. No, if he dies, then he will lose more gold than not be able to afford buyback. Chuan is very low on mana right now. This is a potential problem for the upcoming fight. But he doesn't have a choice. He can't back off. Needs to have mana for sleep. Now, he does have Essence Aura, so if he's lucky, maybe he can pop the urn a few times and hope that procs, because I do believe that works. Or maybe just no, Halberd is 100 mana. That's not going to work. No, I don't think the urn works. It doesn't cost mana, so scratch that. Does appear to be a crit coming up on Joe, which I guess that's really the best that he can go for. Needs to increase his single target DPS. His survivability, he's already got a heart. And a butterfly will not help him all that much. Creeps are inside the base right now for IG. Not a concern just yet. They're still working on the trash buildings. Oh, there's a big swap from Faith. They pull Burning out, but there's a oh my god! ROTK gets a black hole onto 3, but he's immediately gonna go down. He uses the refresher, he gets another black hole. He's actually gonna make it this one. Oh my god! Holy shit! No! What's going on? Oh my god. This fight, there's an immediate TP back in by Burning. He did go down in this fight. Is Roche still alive? It is? Holy shit. That second black hole from ROTK, I can't believe he pulled it off. Completely made the fight for DK. Caught 4, 3 in it, God knows how many. And he was just on a sliver of health away. I thought it might have been a waste. I thought he might have completely blown out those cooldowns for no reason, but in fact completely turns the fight around for DK. Ends up being an even fight in terms of kills.
Radiant's middle tower.
But Jesus. That was close. And actually, DK are on the run right now. IG, they gotta be careful here. Their base is still, right now, being worked on by the creeps. I think they gotta back off.
Radiant's middle tower
Wow.
is under attack.
IG, they're just completely unconcerned about this base right now. Casually walking back to the base. Now, it looked like, I don't know what happened there with Ferrari. Perhaps did he get taken out of the fight immediately? Yes, he did. He was not able to get his Sanity's Eclipse off even once, or use his Refresher Orb. He was taken out of the fight immediately, as was YYF. There was also a buyback on Burning. That was a great swap from Faith. I mean, a perfect swap. The best one you could possibly ask for. So, I think this proves the theory of, oh my god. Rapier? Rapier. So that wasn't a crit. It's a Rapier. Things just got intense. More intense. We're 71 minutes into this game. It's 10 to 25. Who gives a fuck about the golden XP graphs? Anybody could win it. Oh my god. Okay, so the Rapier on Joe. He can't get bashed up. This is the critical part for DK, or for IG. They've got to keep Joe alive, and they need to keep track of when he goes down, because he will at some point in this fight. They need to be ready to pick up the Rapier. It's going to be YYF that has to pick it up. No one else can really afford to do it. Faith is going to be doing nothing but getting ready to swap Joe out of this fight, or potentially swap Burning again. Because that swap was amazing. But I still think, I mean, IG, they're the ones that are behind on damage, and they have to, I mean, taking down Burning twice. I mean, even at this point, I don't think swapping him would really be ideal. ROTK, this time he's got a cheese on his side, so will not be quite as close with this double black hole. But man, oh, that second black hole from ROTK was so huge. So huge. I wonder how differently things could go for IG if they can get the double Sanity's Eclipse from Ferrari. Because I do think things could be very different. Since he's hit level 25, he's sitting on 206, yeah, 206 intelligence. Which, that's well above the threshold for everyone? Yep, everyone on DK. So, it's gonna hit like a truck. Just all depends on the BKBs. Now, RTK's BKB, it's down to 4 seconds. How's the Bear BKB doing? It's down to 8 seconds. Burning's 9 seconds. So, Burning's still in pretty good shape as far as these BKBs go. But I think they need to... DK needs to fight with this Aegis. They can't wait on this. Otherwise, I think they're giving IG the ability to come back in this game. Because I do believe the supports on IG scale better than those on DK. Rubik, Visage, they're good, but they don't provide DPS. Not like Vengeful Spirit, not like Windrunner, and certainly not like Naga Siren. So if things go plus 80 minutes here, it's in IG's favor. Nice double shackle from YYF. They're gonna get the look at the bear damage. Jesus Christ, that thing is ripped up. Burning, forced to resummon, but it's a dangerous situation. I mean, look how fast that bear went down. I mean, that bear, without the BKB activated, is almost irrelevant. DK choose to back off here, and I don't know, do they think? I mean, is he just popping the plasma field because he can? Super rebuys his BKB. I don't know why DK is backing off here. I'm really confused about that. Perhaps because they want to get the BKB for Super? They do not have enough time to get back there and use his Aegis. Are they really satisfied with a tier 3? Are they really going to sit back and let IG continue to farm? Because I think more and more farm on these supports, which is what's going to happen as this game goes forward. Ferrari will stop farming and will give room for Chuan and Faith to pick up their items. That said, I mean, Faith is at 3,000 net worth, 75 minutes into this game. He has not had a particularly fun time. I think if IG have made one mistake in this game, and they've made more than one, but their biggest mistake up to this point, I think, is not giving enough farm to Chuan and Faith. Particularly Chuan. Above all, Chuan. He can have such a huge impact. I mean, Naga Siren can carry much harder than a Lone Druid in many games, and certainly in this one, I think it's a very viable option for out-carrying. Definitely better than Razor. So by not giving Chuan the farm he needs, he's really just... It's a lot of missed opportunity, and 76 minutes into this game, they have to be looking back and thinking, boy, we could be really manhandling these fights if we had a 60-second sleep. I mean, Chuan just now hits level 16, 76 minutes into this game, and if they'd had a much shorter cooldown sleep, I mean, think back to the time of the mid-racks getting pushed in. I think they probably could have held it off if they'd had that 60-second sleep. And Faith is to some extent not quite the same level, but Vengeful Spirit scales really well, and getting max level on everything she offers, it's very handy. It's a very long-range swap. You can get things like instead of having a Desolator on Joe, you could have a Desolator on Faith. And Joe at some point will have to sell this Desolator because it just becomes, it's useless at this point. Everyone on the side of DK have tons of armor, and the effective damage it provides is so low. I mean, 27 armor on Super, 25 on QQQ right now because he's got Flads as well as his Gravekeeper's Cloak. Even 12 on MMY, 8 on RTK, so pretty decent versus RTK, and that's about it. I mean, Burning, he's sitting on 28 HP. Any item pickups for Chuan? He's at 120 gold right now. He spent all his gold on Sentry Wards. Why? Zhou could buy them. This is a really huge mistake, I feel. Having Chuan buy Sentry Wards when you've got both Ferrari and Zhou with enough farmed up for their buyback. Any further creeps they kill from this point on, it's useless, it's wasted. IG, I think if they lose this game, I'm going to blame it on decisions like that. Abyssal Blade picked up onto Burning. His hero is now a relevant source of damage. It's pretty hard for him to get in position, simply because he's melee, and in these fights, Zhou is very mobile, Ferrari ranged, Force Staff. Him staying on top of someone can be a bit of a challenge. However, with 3 sources of bash, his chances are pretty decent. Is this going to be the 5th Roche? Yeah, I think it was the 5th Roche, because that was the 2nd cheese in the last fight, I do believe. So we'll see what happens there. YYF, 2,700 gold for him. The next pickup, I would have to assume, would be... What do we want to go for? I don't know. Perhaps... The Satanic is an option. Refresher Orb is actually not a terrible idea, simply because you get 2 Sheeps, you get 2 Shackles, as well as 2 Mechanisms. And he's got the mana pool to support that, no problem. It is a little bit, it's kind of a one-shot thing. Like, is IG not going to challenge this? IG, you've got the timer, right? You've got the timer. If you don't go there now, they smoked up. They're headed there right away, but I don't think they can get there in time. They did not respond quickly enough. Their timer being off by 3 seconds, that's the difference here. IG, They give up the Roche. That could be game right there. They needed to be there to challenge that Roche. And now there's an Aegis on Burning. He's got an ultimate orb. He's going to go for a sheep stick next. He could buy it outright right now if he so desired. There are 2 cheeses on RTK right now. How are you going to kill this Enigma? Yeah, sheep stick pick up on a Burning. Not a surprising choice at this point in the game. I'm so angry with IG that they would force Twan to continue buying sentry wards. Or maybe not force him. I'm sure it was his choice, but just the lack of foresight, I think, is pretty crucial. It's a shame for IG, but when you get to 80 minutes in the game, I believe we're now at the longest game of TI3. That is what you were currently witnessing. When you get to 80 minutes, you need to be there ahead of time. I mean, you can't show up at the exact time. You've got to be there beforehand to be ready to challenge it. So, I think it's a pretty huge mistake that IG makes with their timing. I thought I saw another sheep stick. Yep, there's a sheep stick on QQQ now. With all these sheeps up on DK, I think this next fight is probably going to favor them, especially with 2 cheeses and an Aegis on their side. Now the Divine Rapier could be big from Joe, but he doesn't have a crit. That's really my only concern for him. Oh, look at this bear just get melted! It drops immediately. Burning, forced to resummon. This bear does nothing. He just pops. I've never seen a bear drop that fast. It's kind of amusing to watch. I kind of hope he keeps setting it in. DK! DK! Come on! Really? You're that afraid to fight without your bear. I mean, admittedly, the bear is very important, but don't send the bear fucking in! Keep it in the back! We'll see what happens. Joe's Divine Rapier could pull this off. I think the big concern I have is just that he doesn't have a crit, and that's the biggest source of DPS you can get with a Divine Rapier. Honestly, at this point, I think selling his treads and getting a crit would be a viable option. It's not like the treads provide him that much movement speed anyways, but DK, it looks like they're so scared. Like they're just refusing to fight without the bear, the second bear, off cooldown. They are so afraid. Perhaps they don't feel they have enough farm. 46,000 net worth on Burning right now. Good God. 5,000 up on Ferrari. Is there anything on the courier right now? No. I don't know what Ferrari would want to build here. Since we've got plenty of time, apparently. He could build Scotty. That would not be a terrible option. Manta Style is okay. Lincoln Sphere is okay. Orchid. Heart? Yeah, the options for OD get really limited once you pick up all the obvious big int items. This is why OD is not a hard carry. It's like 6-slotting him is not much different than 4-slotting him. And giving up a 4-staff is not even an attractive option, or a BKB for that matter. I think this Aegis is going to go unused. DK is just too scared. And this is, this is far from a symptom of Chinese Dota. This is very similar to what we saw in Fnatic versus Mousesports in their 96-minute game, which this is on track to beat. Another 12 minutes in this game, and we will soon have a new record for the longest history of competitive Dota. Which, personally, I think this game feels a little more epic, given that just 1 racks down, and either team could take it. I think IG is still on the back foot, but they've got that Divine Rapier. If they pick up more Divine Rapiers, you never know. Maybe YYF, maybe he'll build a Divine Rapier. All things are possible. Maybe the strat will be not multiple sheepsticks, but multiple divine rapiers. I can only imagine. I wish I could have like the hall cam visible to see whether people are like on the edge of their seats or whether they're like the auditorium is like empty and people are just like, fuck this, fuck China. No. I think this is a pretty entertaining game. It was boring for a little bit, but it's not often you get to see late games like this. And I mean, we're quickly approaching a 12-slotted lone druid. All right, DK, are you gonna send your Barian once more to get insta shot and then run back to the jungle? Because that's what you've done twice now, with 2 separate Aegises. You're giving IG an opportunity to get back in this game. What is YYF spending his gold on? I feel like he's not getting extra gold. What about Chuan? Has he picked anything up? Nope. They're still not giving him any farm. They're just continuing to let Joe take all of it. $6,200 gold. It could be a rebuy BKB on Ferrari. In fact, I imagine that's probably what he's going to do next. I assume Joe has already done that. Yes, he has. The obvious choices in terms of items are dwindling for IG. Oh my god. Still forcing their supports to buy consumables. Why? Why? They're not adapting. Is it going to be a rapier on super? Is it? It could be a crit. That would be more boring. But it could be a rapier. We're going to find out. What did he replace? He got rid of his Ags. I think that's probably a smart idea. Ags at this point in the game is kind of poopy. This team's... it amuses the hell out of me that DK is sitting inside their own base. I mean, they may smoke up here. It could be the rationale, but it just seems like they're like, oh, what's IG going to do? Are they going to try and gank us? We need to stay inside our own base with our 12-slotted lone druid. Sorry, 14-slotted. 10-slotted, there we go. I put 2 in the wrong direction. Alright, Ferrari, he's gone for his boots of travel. He's leveling up. Did we buy that BKB? Nope. Not yet. What's the buyback cost right now? It's about 2,300 for buyback in an 88-minute game. Starting to feel like DK and IG, they agreed like, hey, let's break the record for the longest game of Dota in one of these games. So we'll guarantee that China takes something home with them if we don't make it to the top 4. Crit now picked up onto burning. This is not. I mean, I don't know what you build on a 12-slot lone druid, so I have no opinion on a crit. I mean, he's got an Abyssal Blade and plenty of damage, so it's gonna hurt. I kind of feel like if you've got that many slots, why not just go for, you know, lots of rapiers? IG, have they learned from their previous mistake? Are they going to push their lanes out early and be ready for the Roche when it comes up? This will be Roche number 6 in this game. 89 minutes, 10 to 25. The gold graph will not tell us anything about the status of the game, but it will tell us that it's been the last series of kills were around minute 60. That's probably where that is. And there were 3 kills in between now and then. So it's been almost 30 minutes since we've seen a kill in this game, and yet I don't feel, I mean, it feels pretty exciting to me. Because I just really want to know how this next fight is going to play out, especially after the last one. Oh my god, ROTK. Alright, smoke up by IG. Double damage on Joe. He hits for over 800 damage right now. Oh my god, it could be... There's a swap on MMY. He gets 3-shotted. absolutely demolished. Sheep onto RTK. There's a Sanity's Eclipse onto 3. There's a buyback all over the place. Another Sanity's Eclipse. Triple kill for Joe right now. He's still got the rapier. He uses the time lapse. He's going to be alive. Burning. He's getting bursted down. He's dead. Burning is dead. He's gone down. Jesus Christ. IG does it. They force 4 buybacks immediately out of DK. They win this fight. The Roche is available. The bear is up for burning. That's the fortunate thing for them. The buyback, there are 4 buybacks used for DK. They have to take this fight. However, the sleep gets used by Chuan. They're just going to focus on Roche while they do this, but the familiar stuns, they're slowing him down. They get him down. The Aegis is up on Joe. He's still got this rapier. DK, they have to fight it here. BKB gets popped by Super. They're going onto Joe. The black hole is onto Joe right now. The swap by Faith is going to pull him out. Faith is down. There's another BKB by RTK, but it gets immediately canceled. The Aegis is used on Joe. 4-staff out by Ferrari. He's going to make it out for the time being, but Joe, he gets sheeped up. Can he make it out? Are there going to be bashes from burning? He's going to get defensively imprisoned from Ferrari. Chuan, he's going to get taken out. Joe, he's still alive. He will drop. The rapier's on the ground. He immediately buys back and time lapses back into the fight. Where is he? Where is Joe? Where is Joe? You did not have time lapse on cooldown. I thought he was going to time lapse, but it doesn't work. Oh my god. Oh my god. This game. They're going at it again. BKB is popped on burning. If he dies here, he does not have buyback. Super, he gets shackled up. Some more right clicks from Ferrari. He will go down. He's got the Satanic. He's staying alive for just a little bit longer, but there's a rim of the rapier on the ground. Joe, he picks it up this time. He goes down again. Who has the rapier? YYF, does he have the rapier? YYF. The rapier's just sitting on the ground. They don't care about the rapier. They're going to kill MMY. The rapier. Pick up the rapier. The tier 4s have gone down. In the meantime, Jesus Christ, this game. Oh my god. Oh my god, this game. Drops the 4-staff and picks up the rapier. Ferrari will now be the one carrying the rapier in this game. Can IG push out their lanes fast enough? I don't think they can. Oh my god. Oh my god, this game. It's 92 minutes in. The map is unfortunately not breaking like it did in the Fnatic versus Mousesports game. I think that would really add to the intensity of this game. MMY. I don't know what that time means. I don't think it was the timing of the Roche. I guess it's actually pretty close. IG will start to work on the top set of the top tower. Burning is back in 20 seconds. Super is back in 20 seconds. They should be able to get this top set of racks. It's going to be 1. Can they get 2? That's the question. This feels so underwhelming compared to the incredibly epic team fights between these two teams. Wow. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am about all this. Will we see another rapier in this game? Rapiers at this point are the only way that these teams can get an edge on each other, and the only reason that IG have won these fights was because Zhou went for the rapier. I was a little bit dubious of it before, but he had plenty of damage, and particularly the swaps from Faith. Oh man. 2 huge swaps in those fights. Getting Zhou outside of a black hole, and pulling, I believe it was Super, right on top of Zhou for him to burst down. 2 great swaps from Faith in that fight. Faith has been doing a great job on Vengeful Spirit this game. Some big shackles from YYF. I mean, it's impossible to keep track of how much each individual player contributes in these team fights because they do so much. Shiva's up on ROTK. Since no one else on their team has it, you might as well get it in there. At this point of the game, you need every aura. You need every possible inch you can get for your entire team. IG will group up mid. Zhou, he's rebought his treads after selling them. He now has a Manta style. His build slowly evolving throughout this game. He's not, he could still say, I mean, he could still probably wants to sell the Desolator, but it does help with the potential to push. So maybe they don't want to get rid of it. It's a tough call. It's unfortunate that Ferrari picks up the Divine Rapier. Did not want to hang around waiting for Zhou to come back because it would have been a while. Still, he is going to hit for upwards of 800 damage. Almost as much as Zhou was with his Geminate attack. What a game. So Booth of Travel now up on YYF, and he's got his Crystallis. 6,000 gold on top of that. He can finish his Daedalus and still have buyback. I think that would be a good idea. I believe someone on IG should probably save an item slot for if and when Zhou goes down. Because I don't think they should assume that he's not going to go down. He did eventually, especially with all the buybacks from DK. It's really hard to stop Burning from teleporting back into these fights, especially thanks to the familiars. Smoke up here by DK. Another 5 minutes left on Roche, so that's not going to be happening. By the way, we are on the cusp of breaking the record for the longest game of competitive Dota. That's probably going to happen in this game. Smoke up by DK. They won't make use of it. They just wanted to get out to the lanes faster. It's going to come down to a big sleep from Chuan, a big black hole from ROTK.
Dire's middle tower is under
That's
attack.
the big difference maker in these fights, and of course the swaps from Faith. So important. DK, I feel that they have punished themselves by letting this game drag out. Even though Burning is getting tons of farm, I mean, this is the most farmed Lone Druid, probably of any competitive game of Dota. So, it's not that they don't have anything to look forward to, but IG, they're only going to get stronger as these fights go forward. I mean, YYF, he's now a very serious source of damage. He hits for well over 300 and crits pretty hard as well. These supports on DK are just going to get trashed. A 4-staff on Chuan. Come on. Build him like a carry. You're in a 96-minute game. You have a Naga Siren, who is an illusion hero. You can do this. You can do it, Chuan. He's resisting. He's resisting the call to carry his team. He says, no, I am a 4 position. I will buy only support items. Oh, there's a 4-step forward by QQQ. Uses the sheep. It will amount to nothing. Honestly, that might be enough of an opportunity for IG to take. Triple stun from the familiars. BK's get popped by DK. There's the sheep onto Faith. If they remove him from the fight instantly, the defensive imprisonment from IG. The sleep from Chuan is not going to stop the BKBs on DK. And Vengeful Spirit is taken out of this fight. That could be game. They need Faith in these fights. His swaps have been so important. Can they take the barrel fast enough? ROTK, he lands a solo black hole onto YYF. He gets sheeped up. The Sandy's Eclipse onto 3. Zhou, he will get immediately taken out, but immediately buys back. Ferrari, he's still got this Divine Rapier. He's hitting up to Burning. He does go down. QQQ, he's the only one left with MMY. There's no more damage from DK. DK, they could lose this fight. Shackle up on MMY. IG, they do it. It's a 2 for 5. A buyback from Zhou. They're going to immediately go down mid. There's no bear here for Burning. He had to resummon in the middle of that fight because his bear went down so fast. And IG, they immediately teleport up to top. They're going to start working on the racks, or on the throne even. There's only one tier 4 left. There's 60 seconds left between Super, QQQ, and ROTK. I think this could be game for IG. They could pull it into a game 3. We still have one more game. Oh my god. MMY is taken out, no problem. It looks to be game. There's no Fortify available. It's GG. 98 minutes and 58 seconds. It's 25 to 32. It's game 3 between IG and DK. Mother of Christ. What a game. Those team fights at the end are the most epic thing I have ever witnessed. I can't handle a third game. My heart can't do it. Fuck analyzing this. It was an amazing game. IG, they barely pull it off. I think ultimately due to the draft and hesitation from DK, they didn't take the advantage when they had it. They were too reliant on the lone druid bear. They backed off on 2 separate Aegises when Burning's bear got 3-shot by Ferrari and Joe. So I think that was probably some poor decision making. I still think they could have taken those fights even without the bear, or maybe he should have taken the items off the bear and made sure that he still had them for the rest of the team. The AC in particular was important to keep on himself. So I think that was probably the biggest decision maker there for DK. Great black holes, great play all around. What amazing team fights. What can you say? Huge black holes from ROTK. I mean, Christ. Get ready for game 3.